But like I was saying, this is why a lot of fans prefer her over the newer one, and of course, like I said, the one that preceded this newer one. And I understand a lot of the younger fans are like, well, why prefer this one? She's a TV reporter. She's not a teenager. She's not a scientist. Well, here's the difference. Here's why fans, and I guess that's what the title of this entire thing's going to be, because I was thinking of, history of April O'Neil and her mutations, but just basically history of April O'Neil and, we're just going to call it some kind of Tmnt discussion, April O'Neil. Let's call it that, okay? But this is why people prefer this April over to the other two, and why they even maybe prefer the Archie Comics April as well. You see, it's not the fact that she was involved more in the things, and again, like I said in part one, she was allowed to experience what it was like to be mutated. It's more along the lines that she basically had more of a personality, and that's what people liked about her. I mean, even Doug Walker said it best. She was funny, intelligent, she was funny, quick-witted, She was basically, and she was also what you call a workaholic, dedicated to her work, and willing to do whatever it took to get the scoop. And you had to like that about the character. I mean, you want, again, a great example of her trying to get the scoop, trying to be dedicated to her work, Catwoman from Channel 6. Season 2, there's an example there. When she becomes a fish woman, there you go. This is all basically because she was dedicated to her work. I mean, obviously, when you watched the character, you basically knew that she knew she was going to be in trouble. She pretty much figured it out. She's like, okay, I got to deal with this, I got to deal with that. I know I'm probably going to risk myself doing this. But the thing is, that's how April was. And everybody liked her. And again, it's because she had a personality. I mean, heck, one of the funniest lines I've ever heard from her, one of the funniest reactions she's ever had, was in Raphael Meets His Match. After she and Vernon meet up with Raphael and Mona Lisa, she looks at Mona Lisa saying, basically saying to Raph, it seems you found your friend in the lizard costume. And I love when when Mona Lisa says, this is not a costume, I really am a mutant. I like April's reaction. She's like, you're what? I mean, to me that was one of the funniest reactions she had, and that's why people like this April. This is why they liked her. This is why they prefer her over the other two. And heck, even prefer her over some of the live-action ones. But here's the thing about the live-action ones. They tried to make them, whether they were played by Judith Hong portrayed her, or Paige, Judith in the first one portrayed her, or Paige who portrayed her in the next two. Depending on whoever it was, whether it was Judith or Paige that portrayed her, they portrayed her as best to what was seen in the cartoon series. That's why you always saw a lot of that similarities in the quick wit, and comedic reaction. That's why people like those live-action versions. I mean, yes, Sarah Michelle Gellar voicing April in the 2007 movie was good. I'll give her that. But here's the thing. Here's the thing why people like the 2007 movie, even though it was kind of a mixed reaction, and they like that April. Because even though that April was more based on the 2003 series, basically based on the movie series version of April, whatever you want to call it, it's because of who she was. I understand, again, why people like April. I really do. I mean, why a lot of the young fans like this new version of April. I really do. I do understand it because she's young, she's a teenager, she can relate on levels with the Turtles. It gives the Turtles, or in this case Donatello, someone to crush on, if you will, have feelings for. I mean, it's not like they didn't have feelings for her. I mean, come on. When they did the April Fool's Day episode, what happened? She shows the guys her costume, and the Turtles are like, we better go watch. go keep an eye on her. Just basically running out the door because that's how attracted they are to her. They just never saw her in that light. Even Splinter says that she makes him feel young again just by looking at the way she dressed in April Fool's Day. The point is, I can understand, the reason why they did this, but the reason why they did the 2012 version of April, but again, it's just bizarre. I mean, to me, it's like, okay, you want to establish that she's a teenager, and I can understand it's a different era and all that, and some people at Paramount, not Paramount, but at Nickelodeon, they pretty much feel that, April is, not the best. Be a grown-up April, a grown-ass-up April is not the best example. Is not the best example of hanging out with teenagers, especially the turtles. And it's like, really, And again, to me, it's like, well, what sense does that make? What sense does it make if your movie division is helping to release a movie within the next year or so, well, that version of April is going to be a grown-up. I mean, yeah, she'll probably be she'll be the youngest live-action April we've had, no doubt about that. But come on, seriously? I don't see the difference. Unless you're going to say that April is the same April that we have in this new series, she's just a few years older now. No, that does not make any sense. That does not sit right with people. You know what I'm saying? It's not sit right. I mean, it's like when they cast Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man in the first original Spider-Man movies. People looked at Tobey Maguire in the first one and they said, well, he's not in high school. He's not a high school age right now. He's beyond high school. But they still cast him because he fit the part. He was Peter Parker. But that's also why they cast this new guy, this Andrew guy, in the newer one. Because he does represent more of what a teenager in high school is. So, again, it just flabbergasts me, why they would do this. It really does. I mean, I can't, for the life of me, I cannot understand why they just can't say, why they just can't allow a grown-up April. Okay, here's an exception. Make her 18. That's an adult, but yet still a teenager. It's like what Sally, it's like what Sally Acorn says in Drood Hedge. When she tells Sonic that she can't get certain information out of Nicole in the episode, well, basically it's what Sally Acorn tells Sonic in the episode Drood Hedge from Saturday AM. She basically says she can't get the information she needs out of Nicole until she comes of age, which is 18. Which, from the timeline in the cartoon, is 2 years from that point. So, basically, 18 being the coming of age for all teenagers, male and female, basically means that at 18 you're an adult. So you couldn't make, let me get this straight. They could not make an exception saying, okay, we're going to make this April that you see in the 2012 series, but instead of having her be 16, we're going to have her be 18. Thus, she is an adult, but she's still a teenager. It doesn't make sense, folks. And again, it doesn't make sense why you would say why the director and the producer who's working on the series or working on the movie would say, oh, by the way, April O'Neil in here, she's going to be grown up. She's not going to be a teenager, she's not going to be a teenager like what you see in the 2012-2013 series. And to me it's like, okay, so what sense did that make, making her a teenager if she's not going to be that in the movie? See what I'm saying? And the best part about this, despite the controversy around it, the best part about this is they say they're doing what they feel the fans would like. They have the fans' best interests at heart. Which I can understand why they would make April, a grown-up in the movie. I can understand it. Because it sounds like to me they pretty much don't like the fact that April's being portrayed as a teenager in the show. And again, it all goes back to why fans prefer this April O'Neil right here to this new version. Why they like her a little bit more, why they like her just a bit more than the 2003 version, even though that version was more based on the original origin, the original April. Why they prefer her more over the 2003, over the live action versions of April, even though they've been kind of close in personality and similarity. You know, why they prefer her over her Archie Comics book, you know, persona, as well as the IDW persona, is because of the fact that she was allowed to develop and she had the total package when it came to being comedic, quick wit, just overall having that total package that you want in a female heroine. Yeah, a heroine. Yeah, she's basically the female hero of the show. And again, another reason, like I said in part 1, another reason people prefer her more than they do all the others, including this newer one, is because she was allowed to experience what it was like to be mutated. She was allowed to mutate and transform into other different things, into different creatures. Catwoman, into a Catwoman, if you will. Into a fish woman, into a temporary queen wasp. And that's 3 times. The comic book allowed her to do it twice. Be a turtle that looked just like the turtles. Be a giant-ass mecha, if you will. I mean, what more do you have to ask for? And again, the reason a lot would put the 2003 version of April behind this April is because even though it took to Back to the Sewer to finally have it happen, she too went through mutation, Asian transformation, if you will, in the engagement ring episode. And again, this is why people prefer, but again, despite that, this is why people prefer the original cartoon April to the others. And now I'm not saying that the new April is not going to go through some kind of mutation or transformation in the near future the way the storyline might be pointing towards, from what I've read. But until that happens, there's no doubt that every turtle fan in existence, myself included, old school, new school, and even new generation, young generation, are going to prefer this April over all the rest. So, that's basically my TMNT discussion on April O'Neil. And basically, why a lot of fans enjoy this version of April among the others. So, that's all I'm going to say. Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. Sorry this was in 2 parts. I got a 15-minute time limit. And I'll talk to y'all later.